Hello, lovelies, if anyone is watching this. Today I've been thinking a lot about my future, what it will look like for myself, and it's at my door. I've been thinking a lot about my future and accepting and trying to grapple with the fact that if I want to achieve the goals that I've set for myself, that I believe in, that I feel confident in and passionate about, I also need to commit to the scary parts of it. It's not all just, oh wow, because I'm studying for and going into a field that is kind of full of uncertainty in terms of getting a job, holding a job, knowing where that job's gonna be. I'm majoring in art history and hoping to double major in English, still figuring that out. And I plan to work in the art museum setting. I would love to be in that set. I would love to work in museums, an art museum, but it's very tricky. It's a very hard field to get into. You kind of need to get your foot in the door pretty early, which is what I've been working on. But I know that the things that I'm interested in, I need to be creative with the type of jobs I'm willing to take on, which means that I need to be willing to be adaptive, and I need to be willing to move places that I don't have any family or friends that live there, and I need to be okay with that feeling of, I don't necessarily want to use the word loneliness, but it's loneliness. And I personally do like being alone. I like my independence, and I have learned how much I appreciate and value time with myself, because I think that one of the most important, sorry, there's literally fruit flies everywhere in my apartment. We have been having a fruit fly problem. So if you see fruit flies, I see them too. I also see them, trust me on that, and I am actively trying to get rid of them. Anyway, they're not doing anything to me except, anyway. What was I even talking about? I know I'm gonna need to make sacrifices, and the job that I want to go into, it will force me to get out of my comfort zone. And recently I've been thinking about it a lot, because going into my freshman year, I kind of just ignored that fact. I ignored that the job that I wanted and the career that I saw myself going into was uncharacteristic for what I thought I could handle. And what I mean by that is that I didn't think, last year my anxiety was really bad, my social anxiety was really bad, and I couldn't even fathom the idea of having to move to a different state where no one I knew lived there, have to make my own connections by actively reaching out to do that, because it's hard enough for me here in college to make friends and have to actively make the decision to go out, go to these events, go to these club meetings, putting yourself out there, putting yourself in the position where you could feel awkward, you could feel lonely, you can feel less than. It's a big deal, and I never really saw myself as being capable of doing that at such a large scale. And so I just ignored it. All of last year, I would, oh yeah, I want to study abroad. Oh yeah, I see myself living on the East Coast, but then someone would ask me further questions or be like, oh, have you started looking? And I would say, no, I'm not quite sure yet. And that moment happened so much where it caused me to take a step back and say, what's going on here? Why do I feel so incapable of achieving my own goals that I've set for myself? I set these goals for myself because I'm passionate about it. I want to do it. And then I find myself thinking back again and thinking, oh, but you can't. You can't do it. You want to do this, but you actually can't because you have really bad anxiety in social settings. You don't like putting yourself out there. Because we get so fast to remind ourselves of what we can't do that we forget about the times that we can. And I really fell into that, especially last year. And coming into the summer, I was out of the dorms and moving into an apartment for the first time. And that is a big step. I would say independence-wise, in this summer I've been doing a lot of I've been doing a lot of work on myself and kind of figuring out what I truly want without the pressure of other people's eyes or opinions on what I want to do. And there's always gonna be that second, that double back sometimes when when inevitably adults surrounding you that don't know you or are just meeting you ask you what you want to do or what you're in school for. I say, oh, art history, and they say, oh, that's so cool. It's one of those things where it's just, you gotta take it in and think about what I want is important. It has value because I am not living for someone else. I am on this earth. I am living, I am breathing for myself and nothing else. That is such a simple thing to remember, but it's so difficult to grapple with. Yes, my life is for me, but that also means that if I want to do the things that I really want to do, I'm gonna have to deal with the fact that I have more trouble with doing those things. So I shouldn't even bother. No. No, you should bother. You should do the things you want to do. Yes, it's going to be hard. No matter where you are, what point in your life you're in, it's going to be hard. There's always going to be times where you think it's not going to get better. There's always going to be times where you feel stuck in the same place, but it is going to get better because that's what it always has done. It's so frustrating for me to think about how much time I spend doubting myself and believing the things that I'm telling myself that I can't do, but I can do them. You can do them. We can do them. It's so simple. And obviously I'm not talking about specific situations because every situation is different. And I understand that. I'm saying that we take the easier route, and then I don't want to look back in 20 years and think, I wish I would have done this. Look back in 20 years and think, why didn't I trust myself? Because at the end of the day, the only person that truly knows you is yourself. So why aren't you listening to you? Why aren't you listening to that gut feeling? Why aren't you listening to that deep desire you have to explore this field or explore this interest? Obviously, there's always separate factors that factor into every decision that we make, but I just really have been coming to terms with the fact that things are hard, but they're always going to be hard. So I need to commit to doing what I want to do and doing everything I can to achieve that. Even if it's hard, if it means a lot of commitment, because at the end of the day, I am passionate about my goals, so it's scary to put a lot of commitment towards them, but it will and is going to pay off because I'm passionate about it. And if I commit to something and it ends up not being what I thought it would be, or it ends up not filling my needs in the way that I thought they were going to be filled, then I know that I've tried. I know that I've tried, and I now know better what I want. And all this to say, it never gets easier, but it does get more fulfilling. And that is something I'm trying to remember day by day. Something I just stopped myself literally just 10 minutes ago when I started recording this. I had to remind myself that I am not, like, I started getting overwhelmed with, like, planning. I was thinking, oh, like, why is it that my friends have so many friends, but I don't have as many friends because I don't put myself out there enough? And it's like, why am I comparing myself to other people? Because I actually really enjoy my alone time. The reason that I have less numbers of friends on campus is because I make really good connections and I keep them. And you gotta kind of you gotta remember to be selfish. You gotta remember to be selfish for yourself in the broader range of everything. Yes, I'm overwhelmed right now with my schoolwork, but I'm here for a goal. I'm going to school because I want to get my goals, and they matter, and thus the work that I'm doing matters, and the fact that I feel burnt out right now matters because it's going to mean something. It means something. And that's all. Peace, love, and pixie dust.